Part 41. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 401. 68 skill points. Are you kidding me? Everyone was stunned. Sim La. Ye Chen also felt an indescribable joy in his heart. He really didn't expect that he would accumulate 68 points. But this is normal. He already had more than 30 points before he won the first kill of the national copy Gothic Assault and opened the second stage of Zhihai Xia. In the second stage, he was in the stage of using the Hell Suit. He rushed all the way and won various first kills. Now he naturally has 68 skill points. All on power attack. Ye Chen touched his chin and pondered. This power attack is difficult to upgrade. It requires much more proficiency than ordinary skills. Now he has upgraded to level 12, which is already very good. It is extremely difficult to upgrade again. If you don't use skill points, you have to spend time to grind slowly. Now, if all 68 skill points are added, the power attack will reach the terrifying level 80. The probability of destroying equipment at the same time is 80%. If Xiaohe is added, wouldn't it be 100%? However, the fact is not like this. It's like tossing a coin, guessing the front and back sides, although the probability is 50%, but if you toss it twice, can you guarantee that it will definitely be the front or the back once? There is no way to guarantee it. Sometimes you are unlucky and you can't get a front even after multiple consecutive tosses. This principle is the same as the probability stacking of Ye Chen and Xiaohe. There is actually a rather complicated method here. But in general, 80% success rate, twice in a row, then the overall success rate must be much higher than 80%. I'm a little reluctant. Let's add 38 points first, leaving 30 points for later use. Ye Chen licked his lips anxiously. Skill points are extremely precious. Use them one by one. It takes some courage to use up all 68 points. Moreover, the later the skill points are, the more obvious their effects are. Forget it, just use them up. Anyway, I'll keep the skill points now. I'll expand the advantages in the early stage first. If I need skill points in the future, I can still get them if I'm strong enough. Gritting his teeth, Ye Chen added all 68 skill points to the strong attack. System, your strong attack is upgraded to LV13. System, your strong attack is upgraded to LV14. System, your strong attack is upgraded to LV15. System, your strong attack is upgraded to LV80. Gilu LV80 strong attack. Tut, I'm using the strong attack to break the artifact. Ye Chen sighed with some difficulty. To be honest, he was nervous for a moment. But after seeing the LV80 strong attack, all the nervousness and depression were swept away. Using a simple algorithm, he and Xiaohe both have an 80% chance of triggering the effect when they use power attack at the same time. The chance of failing twice is only 4%. So the success rate of at least one time is 96%. 96%, not far from 100%, right? Are they really all going all in? 80% chance of destroying a piece of equipment. Boss, I'm convinced by you in this game. Big Fried Chicken swallowed hard and said in shock. The rest of the people were also stunned and couldn't help gasping. Destroying equipment, such a heaven-defying thing, a 1% chance is scary enough. Who knew Ye Chen actually had 80%? Of course, it is also true that Ye Chen smashed 68 precious skill points. Who among ordinary people has this courage? However, they don't know that if Ye Chen and Xiaohe use power attack at the same time, the success rate is as high as 96%. My brother is awesome. In the future, when you kill gods and saints, just use power attack to make them stunned. Everyone sighed. At this time, their admiration for Ye Chen has reached an unprecedented level. What a bullshit king, compared with their boss, it's all bullshit. Okay, let's move on to the next level. With the LV-80 attack, Ye Chen became more confident. With a wave of his hand, he led the team to the next level. In the center of the hall, there stood a blonde young knight, wearing a very fitting silver armor. The Holy Light short sword and the Holy Light small round shield, combined as a whole, made this young man look extremely heroic. Holy Light Knight Jace, Lord. Level 55. HP 950000 ////950000. Skill Holy Light Slash. Notes the heroic personality of Jace in the dream. Damn it, I found a pattern. The special effects warriors in this dream are all young boys. Big Fried Chicken said with a curse. Middle school boys love to dream and be heroes. Big Fried Chicken, aren't you such a young man? Lan covered her mouth and laughed. I bought a watch last year, Big Fried Chicken said angrily. Well, what does this mean? Lan was stunned. Big Fried Chicken and the others just laughed secretly. Wait a minute guys, this knight profession has two weapons, a knight's short sword and a small round shield. So the special effect equipment of the Holy Light Knight must be 10 pieces, Tank wondered. Obviously. Ye Chen smiled and turned to Lu Mang and said, Lu Mang, just mute him, Holy Light Slash. Wait. Everyone shouted anxiously, Boss Ye Chen, wait a minute, let's see the power of his Holy Light Slash first. Anyway, there is no first kill, and we are not in a hurry. Hearing this, Ye Chen smiled and nodded. Due to his experience in his previous life, he naturally knew the power of the Holy Light Knight, but he knew that others did not know. Ye Chen also understood the curiosity, especially the excited eyes of a group of knights, and Ye Chen was not easy to refuse. Humph, you stupid civilians, taste my Holy Light Slash, Jace said proudly. Suddenly, he shouted in a deep voice, and the Holy Light dagger slashed down suddenly, and a huge crescent-shaped light blade more than 10 yards long and 3 yards wide was cut out. It's so big, everyone exclaimed. It seemed that he was praised, and Jace became more excited. He swept the Holy Light dagger again, and a horizontal crescent-shaped light blade was cut out. 2 large blades, one horizontal and one vertical, actually formed a huge crossblade. Zayasinko rushed over. With that kind of power, it is likely that hundreds of people can be killed in one go. His horizontal Holy Light Slash, everyone was shocked, especially a group of knights, who were extremely excited. You know, the general Holy Light Slash is only vertical. What's the use of length? Even if it is enlarged, it can only hit a straight line. What is the concept of horizontal Holy Light Slash? Use the width to directly sweep a group. This time, the knights became excited. At the same time, the others said lazily, Lu Mang, we have seen the good show, it's time to silence. Okay, Lu Mang smiled, he was very conscious of a newcomer, with the attitude of a younger brother. But when he silenced, the Holy Light Slash that rushed out disappeared. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 402. What on earth did you guys do? Seeing the Holy Light crossblade disappear, Jace was startled, and quickly used Holy Light Slash again, only to find that the skill could no longer be used, and he suddenly became furious. Sim La. Searched can on Google. Haha, silly. Everyone burst into laughter. Only then did they realize that the team had the Holy Word Mage, and how refreshing it was to clear this type of dungeon. Ye Chen rushed forward, sitting on the LV-80 powerful attack. He couldn't help but use it once with itchy hands. Huge pressure came down, and Jace quickly used the Holy Light dagger to block. With a bang sound, Jace's Holy Light dagger broke directly, and the blade fell to the ground with a clang. To Ye Chen, this sound is so pleasant. Boss. The knights were dumbfounded, crying and laughing. If you want to destroy it, you don't have to destroy the dagger. You know, that horizontal holy light slash is probably the special effect of the holy light dagger. Among all the special effects warriors, only the Iron Warrior and the Wind Warrior have suit effects. There are no others, so generally the most powerful special effects are on weapons. Khan, I'm sorry, I'm too excited, Yuchen said apologetically. He knows that the special effect of the horizontal holy light slash is on top of the holy light dagger. It's a pity that I was so carried away that I forgot about it. Hey, the night side. At this moment, Yuchen's eyes suddenly lit up, as if he thought of something. He looked at Huowu, Tank, and others next to him, but they all had the same expression, and then they laughed wildly together, ha 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 ha. But ordinary players don't understand, what's going on? Is there anything funny happening now? The big fried chicken laughed wildly twice and said, the destroyed equipment is naturally impossible to explode. Which piece of equipment everyone wants in the future, let the boss destroy the other equipment first, tisk tisk, this powerful attack is really a piece of shit. For example, if I want a pair of shoes, Brother Yagami will directly destroy all the other equipment, leaving only one shoe, although there may be nothing in the end, theoretically speaking, after removing the duplicates, the final result will be the success rate will increase a lot, Lan added. Her beautiful eyes kept flickering, and she seemed to vaguely see the powerful Arrow Rain Warrior waving to her. Hiss. As soon as the two explained this, everyone understood. They really didn't expect that this game could be played like this. Destroying equipment actually has this purpose. Take it. It would be great if I had a strong attack. At this time, most people have such an idea in their minds. After all, Yechen is too powerful, and now he has a LV80 strong attack, which is even more powerful than a tiger. He is so powerful that he is even more enviable and looked up to. Next, Yechen continued to attack Jace. He could kill him in 1 minute, but he deliberately delayed it for several minutes. During this period, he used strong attacks many times, destroying all of Jace's equipment except for his small buckler. When Jace was finally killed, there was a ding-dong sound, and a small buckler actually exploded. Jace's fantasy holy light shield, purple quality / set. Level 50. Physical defense add 1002. Magic defense add 1250. Intelligence add 80. Spirit add 90. Special effect holy light /LV add 1. Special effect holy light /range add 30%. Special effect holy light /damage add 30%. Special effect holy light /CD -3 seconds. Note, this item cannot be traded. Haha, good. Yechen had done a test and it was successful. Everyone couldn't help but be overjoyed. The strong attack is indeed powerful, or in other words, the strong attack at level 80 is powerful. What equipment do you want? Okay, I'll smash the rest of the equipment first, and then I'll explode it at you. If you don't believe it, it won't explode. Just like the magic swordsman and the dark mage, there is no particularly sharp knight in the entire throne. At this moment, the small buckler has come out, and the knights are allocating their throwing points. Finally, it was assigned to a knight player named Shura. What a pity, it's not the holy light dagger, it's my horizontal holy light / Shura looked at Yechen pitifully. Yechen suddenly couldn't bear it. He smiled bitterly and patted Shura on the shoulder, do a good job and continue to fight tomorrow. I will only leave the holy light dagger for you to explode. I hope you will work harder and strive to become our main member. Shura was flattered and nodded repeatedly, thank you, boss, thank you, boss. Next, Yechen led the team and entered the 3rd level with ease and joy. That was a young man with no apparent occupation, and he was holding a bomb in his hand. Best pitcher Gordon, Lords. Level 55. HP 50000//50000. Skill Bomb. Notes on the heroic personality in Gordon's dream. Seeing Gordon, Yachen's eyes twitched. He knew that Gordon's projected bomb was extremely terrifying, so he immediately shouted forbidden. Lu Mang's eyes flashed, but it was too late. He banned it and needed to release it. It was not instantaneous. At this time, Gordon had already thrown the bomb. Flight. Yachen did not dare to neglect at all, flapped the snake wings and flew up directly, and struck the cannonball directly with the sharp dagger. Boom! The shell exploded directly in the air, setting off a curtain of fire all over the sky. The terrifying shockwave caused a violent sonic boom. -120,030. The bomb exploded in the air, covering a range of 30 yards, and Yachen was killed instantly. Fortunately, the team members below were fine. And Yachen has a passive resurrection. This is why he dared to hit hard. Forbidden, projecting bombs. Gordon seemed to have forgotten the method of projecting bombs and became anxious. The next step was very simple. Yachen resurrected and rushed up. In less than a minute, he killed Gordon. This Gordon is actually like the Holy Wizard on the 9th floor of Source of Nightmares. They are not special effects warriors, but their strength is explosively strong, and they can be regarded as the existence of supporting the scene. But the Holy Word Mage is still restrained. Wow, W.Zaohyan, it's so close, I was sweating just now, Lu Mang shouted exaggeratedly. In the team, he was the one who knew Yachen's ability the least. If Yachen had really died here just now, he couldn't bear it. It's okay, continue to the next level, Yachen smiled slightly. If I remember correctly, the next level is the Wind Warrior. This Gordon is not a special effect warrior, so there is no good equipment. The kitten went forward and swept it directly. Financial Master. Everyone looked at the kitten pitifully. The elites all know that the kitten is in charge of the throne's finances. In addition to the basic salary, these elite players can also share dividends based on the excess points every month. The source of points is the equipment, skill books, etc. that are handed in. Everyone wants to make a little extra money, which is human nature. Humph, you didn't even move this copy, and you still have the nerve to ask for points, the kitten snorted. 015. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 403. When everyone entered the 4th level, they immediately saw the cold and arrogant young man standing in the center of the hall. Simon Law. He was dressed in green clothes and had white hair. The cold dagger seemed to be alive at his fingertips, dancing into thrilling flowers. In addition, there is a whirlwind like a fighting spirit, wrapping it in all directions. Especially under the feet, the speed of the whirlwind spinning is difficult to distinguish with the naked eye. One can imagine how fast this guy will be. Wind Warrior Qin Li, Lord. Level 58. HP 60000//60000. Skills, Stealth, Sap, Stab, Throat Wipe, Blade Storm, Strong Invisibility, 7-star kill. Notes on the heroic personality in Thousand Miles of Dreams. The Wind Warrior is like a whirlwind, incredibly fast. Can you keep up with my pace? Qin Li's calm voice sounded, and his figure rushed out, quickly pulling out the afterimage, and the next second it disappeared. So fast. Disappeared. Sea of fire. Everyone screamed in surprise, and the next moment, the hall was filled with a sea of fire. This forced Qin Li, who had originally entered stealth, to appear, but his speed was still dazzlingly fast. Phew. I saw a flash of green light, and a fire mage was killed instantly from thousands of miles away. But Qin Li is not incredibly strong. He also has shortcomings. For example, his damage is average. Normal attacks can only deal over 1000 damage, barely killing a fire mage instantly. If you are facing a shield warrior, even one skill may not be able to kill him. But he was indeed very fast, and he could be said to come and go like the wind. No one could catch him at all, even if they wanted to hit him. And he was galloping in the sea of fire, plowing out elegant waves of fire. Puff puff, many fire mages were killed one after another. In less than half a minute, Kinley killed hundreds of people like lightning, and all the fire mages had already been wiped out. In the main hall, the originally rich sea of fire also disappeared without a trace. "Run quickly, follow Boss Yagami," everyone exclaimed. In fact, Yuchen had been chasing Kinley, but the speeds of the two sides were not at the same level, so he could not catch up with Kinley. Simply, stand still and wait for the rabbit. This guy is just a thief after all. He only has 600,000 HP, and now he only has over 400,000 HP. If he is caught by me, he can be killed in seconds. Yechen was very confident. Leaving aside the Iron Warrior for now, if it were the Wind Warrior, Yechen would definitely be able to play better than Kinley 6. Killing more than 100 people in half a minute. Tai Cai, if it were him, I'm afraid the whole army would have been wiped out long ago. Until this moment, Yuchen was most worried about Lu Mang's safety. Others don't know it, but he knows it. There are only 5 levels in Touch of Nightmare. Now that Wind Warrior Kinley is at the 4th level, there is only the last level left. The boss of the last level is a Holy Word Mage. If Lu Mang stayed, the last step might be to get a special effect equipment. Thousands of miles away without getting tired, still strangled like a whirlwind, Yuchen quietly approached Lu Mang. As long as he stands beside Lu Mang, he can keep Lu Mang safe. Because once Kinley rushes over without fear of death, Yuchen can kill him instantly. Kinley seemed to be very afraid of Yuchen and refused to rush over. Soon, more than 400 people in the surrounding area died. There were less than 30 people left, and they were close to Yuchen. At this time, Kinley became more and more cautious. Blow the fire. Yuchen took out the sacred torch and blew the fire several times, but he was dodged by thousands of miles of lightning. All it takes is a chance, Yuchen murmured. At this moment, Kinley disappeared directly from under Yuchen's eyes. You know, Yuchen wears Goblin Miracle detection glasses, and the effect will be activated at all times. Stealth and camouflage are all ineffective. This proves that what Kinley used was forced concealment. At this time, Yuchen suddenly felt a hand on his back, and a soft voice sounded, "At 3 o'clock, the deviation is 20%. Ian's voice, "She has powerful perception. Even if it is forcibly hidden, it can still be see-through." The reason why she put her hand on Yuchen was that she wanted the coordinates of the two to be concentrated at one point, so as to minimize the error in reporting the coordinates of thousands of miles away. To be honest, this error is simply insignificant. Under normal circumstances, a slight error can still hit the target. But the speed of Kinley is too fast, maybe only 1 second, or even half a second. He can magnify the small error geometrically. Lan can't take it seriously. Thousand Needles Massacre. Yuchen also knew this kind of thing, so he immediately turned around and launched a large-scale attack, and countless silver needles were shot out densely at once. Kinley was attacked, appeared immediately, and was even knocked away. Flying Thunder God. Yuchen passed by in an instant, and a sap knocked him out again, and then directly dealt more than 300,000 damage with a decisive blow, killing him instantly. The Wind Warrior was too fast, and there was still a threat. Yuchen couldn't use strong attacks to destroy the equipment one by one. In other words, Yuchen's lock a piece of equipment and explode a piece of equipment is ineffective against the Wind Warrior. But at this time, he killed the Wind Warrior, but no special effects equipment exploded, which was quite painful. For me, the Wind Warrior is probably the most difficult to form. Ye Chen sighed secretly and led the remaining 20 people to the final level. As imagined, the boss of the last level is a Holy Word Mage. When Ye Chen and others entered, they found that they were restricted by the system and unable to attack. And in front of the Holy Word Mage, there was an arena. I should have known that there would be so many people coming in. I'm just the Holy Word Mage. The large number of people is not good for me. Let's fight one-on-one. The Holy Word Mage smiled and said, choose one of you to fight. If you win, you will pass the level. If you lose, you will be considered a failure. Everyone was startled. Can it still be like this? Ye Chen laughed and complained, after all, it's a dream, so nothing that happens is surprising. Because there is only one chance, which is a one-on-one challenge. If you win, you will win, if you lose, you will fail. Ye Chen didn't dare to be vague and went on stage personally. Speechless Mage Mals, Golden Lord. Level 58. HP 3000000//3000000. Skill Reading, Position.C Ban, Sacred Blessing, Sacred Beam. Notes on the heroic personality in Molzer stream. This Mals is a powerful forbidden mage. Generally, the Holy Word Mage can ban at most 2 skills, but Mals can finally ban 12 skills at the same time. There are 12 skills. How many skills can the average player have? Ye Chen is relatively strong, and currently has 42 skills, but among them, there are only 10 output skills, including the hidden weapon style. In other words, this Mals can mute all of Ye Chen's output skills. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 404. However, even so, Ye Chen still killed Mals very easily. Simon.law. What if all skills are banned? Ye Chen's damage is here, his sword is more than 30,000, and Moer's is just a squishy, how can he stop him? Searched Can on Google. Ah! With a scream, Molzer fell to the ground, and 2 pieces of special effects equipment suddenly exploded. Mals Stream Robe, Gold Quality / Set. Level 50. Equipment Type Cloth Armor. Physical Defense add 635. Intelligence add 150. Spirit add 150. Prohibited Objects of Special Effects Silence Spell add 1. The duration of the Special Effects Silence spell is add 30%. The cooling time of the Special Effects Silence spell is -10%. Note, this item cannot be traded. Mal's Fantasy Staff, Gold Quality /Set. Level 55. Physical Attack add 320. Magic Attack add 750. Intelligence add 200. Spirit add 200. Prohibited Objects of Special Effects Silence spell add 2. The duration of the Special Effects Silence spell is add 50%. The cooldown time of the Special Effects Silence spell is -20%. Note, this item cannot be traded. It's so developed, that Kid Lu Mang is so developed, he actually exploded 2 of them at once, everyone exclaimed. Lu Mang's face was also full of joy at this time. There were actually weapons among these 2 special effects equipment. You must know that the special effects equipment of weapons is the most powerful. For example, his silence spell has a forbidden object added to his shirt, but the weapon has been directly increased by 2. If he puts on these 2 pieces of equipment, the forbidden objects of the silence spell will be 5. It's a pity that Mal's Stream Staff is a level 55 equipment. He is only level 50 at the moment and cannot equip it. After everyone cleaned up the loot, Ye Chen led his team to exit the dungeon. Tank rubbed his chin and muttered, the neutral camp still has the advantage. They can clear the dungeons of the 3 major camps. Hearing this, Ye Chen nodded secretly. Players from the light and dark camps, in addition to playing dungeons of their own camp, can also play dungeons of the neutral camp. But he didn't dare to go to the enemy camp. Players in the neutral camp do not have this worry, which is also an advantage. It doesn't matter, I can go to the dark camp and use team teleport at the entrance of the dungeon to force everyone over, Ye Chen said with a smile. In essence, he is a thief after all, possessing stealth and strong invisibility. As long as he has excellent skills and deliberately avoids archers during the vacuum period of strong invisibility, he can move anywhere without hindrance. In other words, any powerful thief or assassin, regardless of camp, can clear 3 copies. But for a thief to go and clear the dungeon by himself, first of all, it doesn't make much sense. After all, there are special effects equipment from other professions, and it's useless for him to pick them up. Secondly, ordinary thieves, or even assassins, really can't clear this dungeon alone. Even Ye Chen is not 100% sure of doing it alone, let alone others. And having a team teleport is another story. Haha, team teleport, this is really a cheating skill, Tank laughed. Tisk, tisk, cheating skills, doesn't the boss have enough cheating skills? Everyone smiled bitterly. Ye Chen was too perverted and had gone beyond common sense. Temporarily separated from the rest of the team, Ye Chen teleported to Longyang City alone, and then went straight to the Forest of Death. It took him nearly an hour to successfully reach the Dark Camp. But here, it is just within the territory of the Dark Camp's LV3 main city, Dark City. If he wants to go to the LV5 main city, he needs to continue moving forward. More than 2 hours later, Ye Chen finally arrived at the opponent's level 5 main city and immediately started sneaking. Since stealth harmony, the movement speed during stealth is reduced by 30%. Under normal circumstances, Ye Chen will not use it easily. But now that we have come to the enemy's main city, we must use it. At this time, Ye Chen received a message on the guild channel. Leng Tong, from the dark camp, broke into the light camp and entered the dungeon alone. Leng Tong? It seems that he is not satisfied with the ultimate warrior. Does he still want the Giro warrior? Ye Chen thought to himself. Compared with the ultimate warrior and the Giro warrior, it's hard to tell the difference. Everything depends on how the player uses it. In short, it is definitely better to have more choices. Anyway, Dream World does not have a CD for dressing up, so you can change the dressing up at will. And this Leng Tong is not an ordinary thief, but an assassin. If he becomes a Giro warrior, he will also be a Giro warrior of destruction. This Leng Tong is indeed qualified to clear the dungeon alone, and the first level of the Origin of Nightmares is the Giro warrior Gormo. He doesn't even need to clear the dungeon, he only needs to kill Gormo. Ye Chen smiled. Leng Tong was a thief after all, and he had the strength of a king. If he were a little more cautious and came to the main city of the light camp alone, there would be no problem. This is the same for Ye Chen. No, he has arrived at the dark camp's LV5 main city now. Who else will notice? Intermediate mental stimulation elixir. Ye Chen knocked down a bottle of potion and rushed out towards the copy of Nightmare Attack. Not long after, he climbed onto the roof and walked forward wantonly. Soon he came to the roof of a house near the dungeon, turned over a piece of brick, and planted a detector. The detection device lasts for 24 hours. Ye Chen planted it here not for detection, but for teleportation, because, using the teleporter, you can teleport to the coordinates of the detection device. Now he is a lieutenant colonel, and he can get 5 detection devices and 5 teleporters for free every day. If he plants the teleporter here now, he won't have to run around in the future. If he wants to brush the dungeon, he can teleport here immediately. In other words, every time he teleports here every day, he will change to a new detection device. Strongly hide. After finishing it, Ye Chen used strong hide, and then jumped from the roof of the house to the dungeon entrance, team teleport. Suddenly, A huge teleportation array appeared at the dungeon entrance, and then Tank, Hua Wu, Big Fried Chicken and other 500 people appeared. Huh. You know, WW. Hashincom, there are a lot of dark camp players at the dungeon entrance. Yechen is strong hidden, they can't see it, but how can they not find Tank when he appears? You know, the players of the dark camp will naturally be red names when they see the players of the light camp. This is also true in reverse, the two sides are mortal enemies. Players from the light camp? How did they suddenly appear in our main city? The dark camp players racked their brains and couldn't figure it out. What the hell, let's kill them first, someone cursed. Immediately, a war cry sounded. However, at this time, Yechen led the team directly into the dungeon. What's going on? The dark camp looked at each other, but couldn't say a word. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 405. The level 50 dungeon of the light camp is called the Source of Nightmares, with a total of 10 floors. w.sim.la. The level 50 dungeon of the neutral camp is called Touch of Nightmare, with a total of 5 levels. The dark camp's level 50 dungeon is called Nightmare Attack and has 10 levels in total. This Nightmare Attack also has many powerful special effects warriors, such as the Ice Explosion Mage, the Ultimate Warrior, the Crazy Director of the Zoo. However, under Lu Mang's prohibition, they all became SB. Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow circled M. Yechen led his team through the dungeon very smoothly. During this period, the strong attack played a huge role. He and Xiaohei were released at the same time, with a 96% chance of destroying a piece of equipment. Almost everything has been successful and has never failed so far. With the powerful attack, even if I encounter the fire dragon now, I'm afraid I'll be able to fight, right? Yechen said proudly. Although he has the fire dragon in his mouth, Yechen has a LV80 strong attack. If his weapons and equipment are destroyed one by one, the fire dragon's strength will inevitably plummet. Just thinking about it, I won't be arrogant enough to challenge the fire dragon now. Yechen smiled slightly. Fighting and crushing are two different things. After all, the other party is a strong man in the Holy Realm, and Yechen doesn't dare to be presumptuous. However, this powerful attack is indeed one of his strengths now, which makes him feel at ease a lot. Not only to deal with the fire dragon, but when the time comes, those kings become special effects warriors. Yechen directly hits hard and destroys the special effects equipment that others have worked so hard to obtain. What will the expressions of those people be like then? Thinking of this, Yechen couldn't help but laugh secretly in his heart. Business alliance. What's going on? According to the news from the spies, Yechen has only refreshed the level 50 dungeons of the 3 major camps once. Doesn't he have a time wheel? King Shang wondered. The power of the Merchant Alliance is beyond anyone's imagination. In the entire Chinese war zone, King Shang has placed spies, so-called traitors, in every front-line guild. Throne is one of the top 10 giants. Now it is prosperous under the leadership of Yechen, and he, King Shang, is particularly targeted. Therefore, he was in control of all the movements of Yechen and others. For example, Yechen had just led people to play Nightmare Attack of the Dark Camp, and he received the news. Yes, Wuhan, you became the champion of the neutral camp in the contest of martial arts and received the time wheel reward. He, Yechen, is also the champion of the light camp, so he should also have a time wheel, a shot that spurred blood. Also puzzled. The time wheel, they call it, is the reward for the champion of the neutral camp in the tournament. Have the ability to refresh all copies once. For example, in Nightmare Origin, Nightmare Touch, and Nightmare Attack, players only have one chance to challenge each day. And if Jian Wuhan uses the time dial, he can use it twice a day. Jian Wuhan relied on this time dial to lead his team to complete the 3 major dungeons twice in a row today. Of course, when they were playing the Origin of Nightmares, the first team was accidentally destroyed by the holy magic. I don't know either, maybe. Jian Wuhan said, perhaps the rewards for the champion of the contest of martial arts will be different depending on the camp. Then Yeshen may not have the time wheel, but another reward. No way, I've asked Lan Yan. He is the champion of the dark camp, and the reward item he received is also a time turntable. He was still confused after a shot of blood. However, they didn't know that the reward for the champion of the contest of martial arts camp was not only the time wheel, but also what Yechen obtained, the Philosopher's Stone. There are even other rewards. It's just that the Chinese theater. The champion of the dark camp, Lan Yan Huashui, received the time turntable. The champion of the neutral camp, Jian Wuhan, received the time wheel. The champion of the light camp, Night God, received the Philosopher's Stone. Maybe there will be other rewards for foreign camp champions, I really can't say for sure. After all, these rewards are issued immediately by the system. In the Chinese theater, only the time wheel and the Philosopher's Stone appeared. After using this Philosopher's Stone, all the players' upgradable skills and LV will be add 1. Although it is a disposable item, it is not weak. But Yechen plans to keep this thing for later use, so at this stage, Lan Yan and Jian Wuhan's time turntable still has the upper hand. Especially in this special effects warrior version. This time wheel can be used every day, and Yechen won't keep it. The only reason why he doesn't use it now is because he doesn't have it, Jian Wuhan affirmed. Well, it seems like his championship reward will probably be other items. King Shang said, but no matter what the item is, it is currently the special effects warrior version. The time turntable has even greater advantages. Jian Wuhan, with 1 shot of blood and a nod, with this time turntable and 3 copies, they can refresh it 6 times a day. Although Lan Yan also has the time dial, he is a player of the dark camp, but he does not dare to break into the main city of the light camp. In other words, even Lan Yan and the others can do it up to 4 times a day. Only Leng Tong, who followed Lan Yan 4 times, could play the Source of Nightmares 1 more time. Overall, their business alliance has the greatest advantage. In 1 week, at most, we can train more than 10 special effects warriors. The king of Shang seemed to be drawing a beautiful blueprint, and said with relief, it is possible that there are more than that. If there are lucky guys in the ordinary skill group, they can also become special effect warriors. It is a little less, but there are at least 20 special effect warriors. At that time, let's teach that night god a lesson and blow up their throne base. Yes, be patient first, let's keep a low profile for a week. Jian Wuhan and Yukiang Pegsu said, after a week, we will have a huge advantage, and it will continue to expand. By then, it will not only be Night God and the throne, but the entire Zhihaixia will be forcibly occupied by our Shangmeng, Zayashian.c. After dinner, Yechen went online again. During this period of time, more than 10,000 members of the throne basically finished the 2 dungeons of the light and neutral camps. They each formed a 30-man group. Although there were almost no ones who could really pass the level, they played as many levels as they could. After all, there was also a chance to become a special effect warrior in the first few levels. After finishing the dungeon, they went to Zhihaixia and each formed a group to upgrade. After all, the monsters in Zhihaixia are at least elites, and these elites have the strength of ordinary wild area leaders, and the experience gained by killing them is also very rich. It is considered a treasure land for leveling. Even if the monsters in the first stage of Zhihaixia are only more than level 40, this is enough. Today's first stage of Zhihaixia is divided into 5 parts. 015. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 406. The first stage of Zhihaixia is now divided into 5 parts. W.Simon.Law. Why do you say that? Because that sea area has been occupied by the King's Guild created by the Merchant Alliance, the Throne, the Monster Army, the Demon God, and Lanyan and other kings. The Merchant Alliance has a strong manpower and occupies the most positions. His guild alone wants to occupy 25 islands. Its strength is as strong as a glimpse of the leopard. The remaining 20 islands are occupied by the 4 major guilds. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. They each occupy a base in the area. Do you want to grab territory? You must be prepared to start a war, at least to blow up the enemy's base, right? Because of this, it makes it extremely difficult to grab territory. Many first-tier guilds, and even some giant guilds ranked at the bottom, were blocked outside Zhihaixia and dared not act rashly. So, the 5 major guilds occupy the largest resources in the current Chinese theater. Comparing upgrades. The 5 major guilds are active in Zhihaixia, and they brush national elites comparable to ordinary leaders, with rich experience. Comparing benefits. The 5 major guilds brush national elites, often green equipment, and occasionally brush national lords, and the benefits are explosive. Without resources, how can other guild forces compare? What can they compare with? It is completely conceivable that as time goes on, these 5 major guilds will further widen the gap with other forces. For ordinary players, it is even more crushing. Why can't you beat others in games? Because you have lost from the beginning. Looking at Dream World, there are at least 500 million players in the entire Chinese theater. But the real strong are often only a small group of people, and the best resources are firmly in the hands of that group of people and their subordinates. In front of them, any large guild or force can only retreat to the second line. And ordinary players are even more out of reach. The game world is equally cruel. The winner is the king. Hey, today is clearly the first day after the system maintenance. Now that the dungeons are all cleared, those guys have become quiet. Tank wondered. Those guys he mentioned refer to the Merchant Alliance, the King, the Monster Army, and the Demon God. You know, in this Zhihaixia, ordinary forces dare not act rashly, but the 5 major guilds often clash. No matter which guild, they all want to grab one more island. After all, those are valuable resources. Before the system maintenance, Zhihaixia often had wars in the first and second stages. But today, it is strangely quiet. Quiet. It's just the quiet before the storm. Yachen smiled and said, now everyone is waiting for the birth of special effect warriors. After all, that is the strongest fighting force below the Quasi-King. At most 2 weeks, the real war will start. At this time, Yachen did not know that Jian Wuhan and Lanyan had the time wheel. That's why it was said to be 2 weeks, but in fact, the Merchant Alliance and the King estimated that it would only take 1 week to produce a lot of special effect warriors. Of course, even if he knew, he would not worry. Because even if it is a special effect warrior, he can use special effect warriors to destroy. Let's not talk about the extreme flow. The so-called special effect warriors need at least 4 or even 5 pieces, and on the basis of the intermediate mental stimulation elixir, it can be considered barely beaten. At that time, Yachen uses a strong attack to destroy 1 or 2 of his equipment, then is he still a special effect warrior? In short, as long as the enemy's special effect warriors dare to attack, he will use a strong attack to destroy them one by one. Even take the initiative to attack. Blow up all the enemy's special effect warriors. As for the special effect warriors under his command, they can raise pigs with peace of mind, and they will grow bigger and bigger and more, with more special effect warriors. There will always be 1 or 2 extreme warriors, right? That combat power is awesome. Regarding this point, Ye Chen's strong attack has the ability to destroy special effect warriors, tank, big fried chicken and others also know it, so they are not willing at all. They even look forward to the coming of the so-called storm. Every time they think of the enemy's fear, panic, and puzzled eyes after Ye Chen destroyed the enemy's special effect warriors, they feel inexplicably excited. Let's go to the second stage of Zhihai to continue the development. They are quiet, but we don't need to be quiet, Ye Chen smiled. Before the revision, relying on the Hell Suit BG, Ye Chen's combat power exploded like a cheat. After the revision, the Hell Suit was harmonious, so he didn't dare to go to the second stage of Zhihai. But now, with the LV80 power attack, no matter what boss you fight, you can throw 2 power attacks first to greatly weaken its attack and defense. In this way, it will be easier to fight. As Ye Chen finished speaking, white light flashed, and Ye Chen himself turned into white light and landed on the ship-shaped base of the second stage of Zhihai. This ship-shaped base is floating quietly in the safe sea, which is the so-called safe zone. Generally, there will be a safe zone in the wild area, and there are no monsters in the safe zone. This Zhihai naturally has one. Summoning Goblin Miracle Advanced Ship, Ye Chen took out the rope and connected the Goblin Miracle and the ship-shaped base. Then heading towards island number 86. Arriving at island number 86, the team dispersed as usual and acted separately to find the boss. It turned out to be a flying tiger. Flying Tiger, National Lord. Level 58. HP 285000//285000. Skills Flying, Steel Teeth, Slam, Storm. The team led by Lan was the first to discover this flying tiger. Its steel-like majestic figure and its shiny black and heavy wings behind it all showed that this guy was very powerful. At this moment, it was lying on a piece of grass and taking a nap. Lan saw it from a distance and waved his hand to signal. Everyone hurriedly lay down in the grass, not daring to breathe. Brother Ye Chen, the boss was found, Lan typed in the guild channel. Hoshian.c. Ye Chen saw the message, locked the coordinates of Lan and others, and rushed over quickly. This flying tiger has steel teeth, steel claws, and wings. These look very strong and powerful. First use a strong attack to blow them up one by one, first break its attack power, and then break its defense. Ye Chen pondered and sent Xiao He to explore the way first. You know, almost all the national lords in this second stage have a high perception. Ye Chen clearly remembered that the boss of island number 85 had a perception of about 5 yards, so this flying tiger is probably no less than that. Ye Chen did not dare to rush over rashly, so as not to wake up the flying tiger. If the latter flew up, bypassed him first, and killed the rest of the team, it would be bad. Now the average level of this main group is 50. If someone dies and loses a level, it is extremely uneconomical. Merchant Alliance, King, why don't they open up this second stage? They are definitely capable of killing the boss, but most of them will die, and they can't afford this price. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 407. For Ye Chen, the first kills of these bosses are placed here and can be taken at any time. If he couldn't clear the boss with 0 deaths, then he would rather not take it. At this time, Xiao He had already rushed forward and came to the side of the huge flying tiger. Others can't see Xiao He, but Ye Chen can. I saw Xiao He standing next to the flying tiger, like a little baby, standing next to a tall and rough man. The hugeness of this flying tiger can be seen clearly. Strong attack. Xiao He suddenly took action, and the dagger in his hand suddenly hit the flying tiger's huge and sharp fangs. Hearing a clanging sound, the Fishan who was sleeping comfortably, was affected by the huge force, and was immediately startled in a funny way. Immediately, the fangs were broken in response. Interestingly, although the other fangs were not attacked, they were broken off by force. Even the 2 rows of steel teeth in his mouth were completely suppressed. Roar. Fishin, who roared with anger and pain, his sharp eyes suddenly opened, but he was stunned. There aren't any creatures in front of you. Who bothered me when I was sleeping? Without even thinking about it, the flying tiger directly opened its bloody mouth and let out a big storm. Instead, half of its teeth fell out, and there was some air leakage. The terrifying big storm blew out, but instead it made a funny puff sound, but the power was small enough to be ignored. Even the weak grass in front was barely blown down by the flying tiger. Haha, this tiger. Everyone couldn't help laughing. Hey, the 80% chance of a strong attack is quite high. Ye Chen smiled. Now only Xiao He uses a strong attack, and the success rate is only 80%. But now it was still successful, and Ye Chen couldn't help but be overjoyed. The next thing is the wings. Those wings are quite powerful. I'm afraid they not only have the ability to fly, but also have the ability to do damage. Blast its wings, making it unable to fly, and losing an attack method again. Ye Chen secretly laughed and used the flying thunder god to teleport over. He launched a strong attack and slashed on the thick rigid wing. He only heard a click, and the rigid wing was actually discounted. The other rigid wing was also struck. Shocking bends. The flying tiger roared in pain, because Ye Chen teleported over, and it had just discovered Ye Chen until this moment, and immediately pounced and threw Ye Chen to the ground, but it did not do much damage. But Ye Chen stood up quickly, joined forces with Xiao He, and attacked Fishin Hu wildly. Fishin Hu's HP plummeted. It tried to flap its wings and fly, but it couldn't fly. The wings seemed broken. Haha, guys, you can come up and attack us now. The tiger's damage has been reduced a lot. Ye Chen laughed, and countless people rushed out of the grass, charging toward the disabled flying tiger. The long-range profession just stood up and did not move, but released skills. After a round of concentrated fire, the flying tiger screamed in pain, but there was nothing he could do. More than 10 seconds passed, and Fishin Hu's HP dropped by half. At this time, Ye Chen's Xiao He's strong attack had finished cooling down again. Strong attack. This time it was released at the same time, with a success rate of 96%, directly shattering the sharp claws of the flying tiger. Until this time, the damage of the flying tiger has dropped to less than that of the elite monsters. Tanks and other shield warriors have become hegemonic berserkers and can completely withstand them. Bash. The flying tiger struck Ye Chen again, but this time it failed to knock him down. It can be seen that its damage and even strength were greatly reduced. More than 10 seconds passed before the flying tiger howled miserably and was trampled to death by the crowd. With a chi sound, there was a gorgeous explosion, and there was a pair of wings in it. Broken tiger wing, fashion. Level 30. Movement speed add 3%. Additional skill flying is instant, movement speed add 15%, duration 5 minutes, cooling time 2 hours. I'm dizzy. Broken tiger wings, what a sin. Ye Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He finally got a pair of wings, but they were damaged. You must know that with complete wings, the basic movement speed increases by 5%, and the flying movement speed increases by 30%. The duration is 10 minutes and the cooling time is only 1 hour. These damaged wings have a lot of rubbish attributes. If I had known this guy would explode his wings, I wouldn't have had to attack him. Ye Chen was extremely depressed. Obviously, it was precisely because his strong attack damaged the wings of the flying tiger that the damaged wings appeared at this time. Oh, that would be nice. Boss Yagami, if your powerful attack cuts off the wings, it won't be able to cause damage. Big Fried Chicken smiled casually, took off his wings and handed them to Lan, then took the damaged wings and put them on. I am an animal trainer, as long as I can fly, I don't care how fast I can fly. Before the sanctuary, wings had great advantages. A person with wings can only be killed by someone who also has wings. Big Fried Chicken is just an animal tamer. He has wings to fly and protect himself. Normal people can't deal with him. And even if the wings are complete, even if the Big Fried Chicken is used, the speed will not be very fast due to the nature of the profession. People with wings from other professions can easily catch up with him. Thank you, I didn't expect you to be quite generous. Lan smiled slightly. On the other side, the business alliance. You know, when Yuchen scored Fishenhu's first kill, it naturally made national broadcasts. Humph, this Yeshen really doesn't know what's good for him. At this time, he dares to open up the land of Zhihaixia. Shang Wang sneered, without the BG of the Hell suit, even if he kills the boss, the team will have to pay a huge price. Who cares? After a week, he will know how powerful he is. Yi Gun spurted out blood and laughed jokingly. However, they didn't know that Yechen had LV80 strong attack, and it was no harm to brush the national lord. Kill the flying tiger and get a broken tiger wing, a low-level diamond, a few skill points, and a lot of experience. Under the joy, Hohayan. Kam Yechen led the group to kill island number 87. LV80 strong attack, I'm afraid it's difficult to upgrade. The Goblin Miracle pulled the huge ship-shaped base on the sea, and Yechen stood on the deck and muttered. Since using the skill points to push the strong attack to LV80, from now on, not counting Xiaohe, he has used it no less than 100 times. However, the accumulated proficiency is only a pitiful 1 point. This is too little. You should know that the LV12 strong attack can increase 1 point of proficiency by using it once. If it successfully destroys equipment or smashes the teeth of beasts, etc., it can increase dozens or hundreds of points at a time. But now, his strong attack is successful almost every time, but after 100 times, there is only 1 point of proficiency. And the proficiency required to upgrade from LV80 to LV81 is more than hundreds of millions. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 408. Skills are not as good as levels. W.Simon.Law. Even if you play for a few years, your level has already been fully upgraded, but skills are generally only a few dozen levels. In his previous life, Yechen entered the dream world 2 years later, and his level reached 99, and his highest skill was only LV42. The skills are more difficult to upgrade as you go further. Yechen has been playing for 2 years, and even for players who have played for 4 years, the highest skill is only LV60, at most. Of course, using skill points is another matter. It is almost impossible for me to upgrade my LV80 power attack by relying on proficiency, unless I use skill points, Yechen said secretly. He will not be satisfied. According to the current rhythm, power attack LV80 has an 80% success rate in destroying equipment. LV100, I am afraid it will be a 100% success rate. Since there is a 100% success rate, how can he be satisfied with a mere 80%? When it reaches 100%, Xiaohe and I will fight separately, one for weapons and the other for equipment. Wouldn't it be more fun to destroy 2 pieces of equipment at the same time? Yechen thought to himself. Take it slow, step by step, and try to take all the skill points of the entire Zhihaixia. Yechen smiled complacently. It must be said that he now has this possibility. You know, if he can get skill points indiscriminately in the Chinese theater, then other countries will also have that kind of super abnormal existence. Yechen dare not take it lightly now. In the past, Yechen would probably be so excited to become the king that he couldn't sleep. But people go up and water flows down. Now that he has reached this point, he naturally wants to go further. Equal to the king? No, I want to beat the king. Dominate the Chinese theater? No, I want to lead the Chinese to beat the whole server. Beat the world? Becoming the strongest in the whole server, this is Yechen's only ambition. While Yechen was pondering, the Goblin Miracle was still dragging the ship-shaped base across the sea. 10 minutes later, Yechen led his men to land on island number 87. Similarly, everyone was divided into small teams to search the island. After more than 10 minutes, everyone gathered in the center of the island. "Damn it, there is not a single monster on this island," Tank cursed, and suddenly Lan exclaimed and pointed in a direction. Everyone looked up and saw a huge abandoned factory. A flash of inspiration flashed through Yechen's mind. When he saw this factory, he knew the monster on this island. "Let's go." Yechen led his men to move forward. After approaching the abandoned factory, they found that there was an electronic magnetic field around the factory, and the electricity was still very strong, with faint flashes of lightning. Someone in the team was accidentally hit by the electric current. The damage was not high, but he was paralyzed for a second. Outside the factory, there were many old magnets with life. This magnet monster is also a national elite monster. Yechen ignored it and led people directly into the factory. Suddenly, a thunder roar came, which made everyone tremble. Lightning flashed, and a huge white figure suddenly appeared in front of everyone. This huge monster looks like a snake or a dragon, with a thick tail coiled in a circle, and its head and body raised high. It is not an ordinary creature, because it is wrapped in a layer of electronic and white metal shell. Electric Dragon, Lord. Level 58. HP 260000//260000. Skills: Electric Cannon, Electronic Magnetic Field, Electronic Clone, Flash Bomb, Static Electricity. Yechen shook his head. He always felt that the planner did not name this monster well. Instead of calling it an electric dragon, it is better to call it an electronic dragon. After all, the electric dragon is easily associated with the dragon beast of the lightning system. But the electric dragon in front of him is completely an electronic life. "Back off!" Yechen shouted loudly, while ordering Xiao He to rush up. He knew this electric dragon, it was very powerful, especially the electronic magnetic field skill, which was a large-scale paralysis skill. If the team was caught by it, who knows how many people would die. Everyone retreated, and at the same time, Yechen threw a stun dart at the electric dragon. The stun dart was launched later but hit the electric dragon before Xiao He did. With a bang, the small dart seemed to contain violent power, and it actually pushed the huge electric dragon back 3 yards, and the stun effect of the stun dart was activated, stunning it. Whoosh! The next second, Xiao He rushed up like a gallop and beat the electric dragon violently. This electric dragon seemed to have no stiffness, but was repeatedly beaten back and stiffened by Xiao He. Powerful attack. Xiao He jumped up, and the dagger hit the electric dragon's head fiercely. With a loud bang, a row of mechanical teeth of the electric dragon were shattered. Even so, Yechen still didn't dare to move forward, because this electric dragon has the passive static electricity, which has a high probability of being triggered when attacked, paralyzing the enemy. So, Yechen simply spread his snake wings and flew up, and then changed to the Holy Torch, and promoted to cycle blowing. Although it is called cycle blowing, in fact, the probability of paralysis of the electric dragon is very high. Yechen will be paralyzed after 1 or 2 seconds of blowing. But Xiao He didn't care, it was so happy to fight, after all, it was invincible. Well, just grind it to death slowly, there is no need to take risks. Yechen stood in mid-air and smiled slightly. But at this moment, he was paralyzed by static electricity and could not move. At this time, Xiao He happened to miss, and the electric dragon got rid of the stiffness in an instant and rushed towards Tank and others. The huge and powerful long tail flashed like a white light, which shows how fast it is. Hey, that's not right. Tank and others haven't attacked yet. I am the only target of the electric dragon. It obviously has a long-range attack, why doesn't it attack me, but attacks tank and others instead? Ye Chen was stunned, his eyes bulged, could it be? As if he had a feeling in his heart, he hurriedly communicated with Xiao He with his mind. Xiao He nodded humanely, and flew over directly like the thunder god, but got closer to the electric dragon first. At this time, the electric dragon also approached the team army, and the powerful longtail seemed to be trying to pull it down. In the shock of everyone, Xiao He hurriedly used the goodwill halo. This kindness aura, .zaxian.c is a means that Ye Chen got at the beginning of the game. It is very powerful and has a powerful effect of making enemies within the range lose hatred in 1 second. Wow! A circle of sacred light spread from Xiao He's body, extending to 5 yards, and naturally enveloped the electric dragon. Normally, this electric dragon should have dull eyes, lose hatred, and stop attacking in an instant. However, it continued to attack, and a long tail swept out, but it directly swept away 10 people and killed them all instantly. Impossible. Ye Chen was stunned. The kindness aura is extremely powerful, even the mythical beast can have an effect. A mere electric dragon is immune? The only ones who are immune to the kindness aura are special humanoid monsters or NPCs. Of course, there are also players. This electric dragon, is there someone inside? Ye Chen himself was shocked. He had brushed this electric dragon in his previous life. How could it be possible? 015. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 409. I have to give it a try no matter what. If there is no secret, this electric dragon cannot be immune to my aura of kindness. W.sim.law. Ye Chen's heart trembled, and he directly ordered Xiao He to hit the electric dragon's belly with a strong blow. Something unexpected happened. The electric dragon was attacked and exploded. A terrifying energy storm swept across, killing all players within a 10-yard radius. At the same time, a dark figure was thrown out, and finally hit a pillar and stopped, shouting ouch ouch. Damn, there really is someone. Ye Chen's eyes widened. It was now obvious that the electric dragon was just an electronic device. The little fat man who was blown away and covered in black was the one who controlled the electric dragon. That's not right. Ye Chen suddenly felt that his IQ was a bit insufficient. This little fat guy was obviously an NPC. In the previous life, I am afraid that no one had a strong attack and could not destroy the electric dragon. If he killed it directly, the little fat man would be suffocated inside and die. The NPC only has 1 life. Normally, this electric dragon dies when it dies, but in the previous life, this electric dragon was refreshed once a day. What's going on? Instead, Ye Chen became excited, as if he had been to hell for the first time, extremely excited. After all, he had experience in his previous life. He had experienced many things in this dream world. Now that he encountered novel and unconventional things, it aroused his curiosity. Full of doubts, Ye Chen walked towards the little fat man. He was not worried that the little fat man was a threat to him. After all, if this little fat man is really that powerful, why does he need to rely on the electric dragon to fight? But at this time, the little fat man became frightened when he saw Ye Chen walking in. He knelt down in tears and begged for mercy. Don't kill me, respected warrior, please don't kill me. Ye Chen was startled, he couldn't figure out this little fat man's routine. Seeing his hesitation, Xiao Pang suddenly felt hopeful. He actually crawled over and hugged Ye Chen's thigh, crying out in a hissing voice. Suddenly, out of the corner of his eye, he caught sight of the Lieutenant Colonel medal on Ye Chen's chest. He quickly said, "Lieutenant Colonel, please don't kill the villain." I, Rab, am willing to be loyal to you. Suddenly, the system NPC Rab is willing to be loyal to you and become your subordinate. Do you accept it? Accept it, only fools don't accept it. Yachin was overjoyed, he didn't expect such a good thing to happen. You know, this NPC subordinate is extremely difficult to recruit. Sometimes you can't recruit them actively, but now you have no intention of getting allegiance. It's true that the flowers planted intentionally do not bloom, but the willows planted unintentionally create shade. At this point, counting this review, Yachin has 3 NPC subordinates, the other 2 are the Paladin Eli and the Goblin Damu. Of course, Goblin Damu is only Yachin's nominal subordinate. It does not really want to be loyal to Yachin and is the kind that can betray him at any time. But this filibuster asked for it on his own initiative and would generally not betray. This guy can control electric dragons, can he make electric dragons? If it can be mass-produced, damn. Yachin was ecstatic. Oh, the boss just took in another NPC subordinate so casually. It's like the king's domineering spirit is leaking out. It's frustrating. Compared with boss Yagami, we are simply not playing the same game. No. Seeing Rab kneeling on the ground, begging to become Yachin's subordinate, Tank, Big Fried Chicken and others smacked their lips in envy. The main group of them are like this, and the rest of them are also beyond words. At this time, Yachin asked Labu, what's going on with your electric dragon? Can you make it? Hearing this, everyone pricked up their ears. What? Can electric dragons be made? As for mass production, However, Rab said, Master, my profession is an electronic operator. This electric dragon is not so much made as it is summoned by me. At the same time, only I can control this electric dragon. Tisk, no way. Yachin, like everyone else, sighed secretly, his good wish of mass-producing electric dragons failed. Electronics operator. Yachin was startled. He had never heard of this profession. At this time, Yachin thought of the events in his previous life and asked, Review, is there anyone else in this so-called electronic manipulator? This electric dragon can generally only be killed, except that it can be directly exploded by strong attacks. And in that case, Labu, or the people inside the electric dragon, would die. In the previous life, the electric dragon could be refreshed repeatedly. There was something fishy about this. In other words, this filibuster is not a person, but an organization of electronic controllers. Yes, actually I am a slave. I was bought by Master Daru along with a group of little slaves. He trained a group of us little slaves to become electronic controllers, Rab said respectfully. Hey Fatty, according to what you said, Master Daru should be your reborn parent. If you don't repay the favor, forget it. How can you turn to our boss? Lu Mang shouted. Humph. Calling him Master Daru is to give him face. In fact, I hate him to death because he doesn't regard us as human beings at all. Rab said angrily, he beats us with thunder and lightning every day just to make us adapt to the properties of thunder and lightning. Many of our friends were beaten to death by him, but he still didn't give up. Now that I have a chance to escape, I am so lucky. Everyone sighed, but Yachin was startled and shouted, Labu, where is Master Daru? Let's go kill him and rescue your group of friends. Hearing this, Tank and others laughed in their hearts. They saved those little slaves and recruited them as NPC subordinates. In that case, although they were not mass-produced electric dragons, they also had a group of electric dragon troops. You know, WW. Aishan, this electric dragon is very powerful. Only Yachin can destroy it directly with a strong attack. It is very difficult for ordinary people to fight it. And it moves very fast. If you can't beat it, you can run away. Master, are you serious? That's great. Labu cried with joy, then wiped his tears and said worriedly, but Master, Daru is very powerful. He can summon electric unicorns. That's the Golden Lord. This Lobyu got angry and didn't even call Master Daru, but just called him by his name. Hearing this, Yechen was startled. You know, this is a national map. The national Golden Lord is much more powerful than the Golden Lord in the general wild area. Just like Gothic's foot, it is a sub-holy beast. Wait, Yechen suddenly felt happy. His strong attack could destroy the electric dragon, so why couldn't he destroy the electric unicorn? At that time, he would destroy the electric unicorn and force Daru out. Then he would slowly use the thief to steal the skill of summoning the electric unicorn. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 410. Speaking of the thief, Yechen was suddenly startled. Simon. Law. Yes, you can also steal special effects equipment as a thief. As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. I was misled by the words untreatable. Yechen gave a wry smile. You must know that equipment that cannot be traded generally cannot be stolen. If it's a special effect equipment from someone else, player, Yechen definitely can't steal it, but it can be stolen from monsters and NPCs. Such as the Fire Dragon Warrior and the Holy Light Knight, I can't use their special effects equipment even if they are stolen. But Xiao He uses stealing. If successful, he will place the stolen equipment on the ground. In this way, those who need it you can pick it up. The more Yechen thinks about it, the more excited he becomes. If this is the case, the efficiency of training special effects warriors will be greatly increased. Maybe a batch of extreme special effects warriors can be trained in one day. Of course, thinking back, the real results still need to be tested. But Yechen and the others had already finished the dungeon that day and could only wait until tomorrow. Yechen took a deep breath, suppressed the excitement in his heart, and asked Lobyu in a deep voice, Lobyu, you summon the electric dragon, and Nadaru summons the electric unicorn, are they both the same skill? Rab nodded. In that case, if I give Daru the skill to summon the electric unicorn, can you learn it? Yechen asked again. Lobyu was startled, then ecstatic, and said with excitement, I'm only level 58 now. Maybe I'm not high enough to learn, but I believe I will be able to learn one day. That's enough. Let's go and take us to kill that Daru. Yechen was very confident. After all, Nadaru is also an electronic controller. The summoned electric unicorn is a sub-holy beast. Others may not be able to do anything about it, but Yechen can blow it up with a strong attack, and without the electric unicorn, Nadaru is probably just a human. Fart. Seeing Yechen's persistence, Lobyu nodded solemnly and led the way. Yechen, Tank, Big Fried Chicken and others followed slowly. Finally, Lobyu led Yechen and his group to a secret room in the factory. With a clang sound, Lobyu opened a hidden underground manhole cover with ease. Wow! Everyone was amazed. At the same time, everyone was also excited that could not be concealed. There was obviously a hidden map under the wellhead. Exploring hidden maps is often very exciting. Hey, you guys, you'd better be careful. I'm very confident about the master's strength. As for you, I'm afraid you can't protect yourself. Rab turned to Tank and the others and shouted. When everyone was suffocated, they were not angry, but became cautious. Rabu's electric dragon killed dozens of them before, not to mention the more powerful electric unicorn. However, everyone felt relieved when they thought that Yechen's strong attack could directly disintegrate the electric unicorn. Seeing this, Rab said nothing and jumped down from the wellhead first. Yechen waved his hand, and everyone followed suit and jumped down one by one. Not long after, Yechen and others arrived at a huge underground square. The area of the square is at least 1,000 square meters, and there are generator-like buildings at the four corners. But those generators were leaking electricity. As a result, the entire square was flashing with electricity that was as curved as a thunder snake. In Dream World, there is actually no attribute of thunder, so thunder and lightning are also classified as light attributes. Some people who have insufficient light resistance or insufficient paralysis resistance will be hit by electric current and fall into a paralyzed state, unable to move. Crack. Hey yo, hey yo. In this leaky square, in addition to Yuchen and his party, there were many young men like Rab. There were almost 300 people. These people should all be slaves in Rab's words, and now they are all electronic controllers. At this moment, most of them are doing some kind of exercise, sweating like rain. On the outside, there was a dark-skinned young man. He was holding a long whip and kept whipping the ground as a deterrent. "Hylu, have you reached the level of summoning an electric dragon?" Rab shouted excitedly. The dark-skinned young man was stunned, then turned to look at the 300 slaves. Seeing that they were not paying attention, he suddenly slapped the long whip on the ground and shouted, "What are you looking at? Concentrate on training." The little slaves immediately fell silent, but Hylu came over and said, "Rabu, you are crazy. Why did you bring outsiders in here? Master Daru will kill you if he finds out." "Hee, I'm afraid he can't kill me now." Labu was relatively small. He looked up at Yuchen and smiled proudly. "Hylu, let me introduce to you. This is my master, Lieutenant Colonel Yashin." "Hylu, haven't you had enough of Daru's abuse? To tell you the truth, this time my master and I came here to kill Daru. In this way, we can all regain our freedom," Buledin said in a deep voice. Before, he was just Daru's slave and was abused every day. But now, although he is called Master Yuchen, he is still a subordinate, which is different from a slave. This, Rab, don't you know how scary Daru is?" Hylu roared in a low voice. Affected by Rab's mood, Hylu also became excited, and suddenly changed his name to Daru. He used to be called Master Daru, but now he omits the word master. Obviously, he also secretly hates Daru. "Hylu, you don't believe me," Labu said in a deep voice. "I came here this time, so naturally I have something to rely on. To put it at a step back, if we are slaves and are abused by Daru every day, we will die sooner or later. It's better to resist, maybe we can reversal of fate." Hearing this, Hylu fell silent, with a very struggling expression on his face. "Brother Hylu, let's resist once. When I think that we will be abused by Daru for a few more years, I feel worse than death. Now that we have the chance, let's fight and die without regrets," many young slaves also advised. Judging from the title, they still trust Hylu. In fact, it was only Daru's order that Hylu used the long whip to threaten them. In that case, let's resist once Hylu finally let go. Next, Labu and Hylu led the way, followed by less than 10 people including Yuchen, Tank, Hua, Big Fried Chicken, and Lan. 300 slaves still stay in the square, because they cannot summon the electric dragon, and if they go there, they will die. Most of the team members were left where they were. It wasn't that they didn't want to go, or that Yechen stopped them, but that they were paralyzed by the square's electronic magnetic field and couldn't even move. Not long after, a group of people walked out of the square, walked forward for a while, and saw a closed room. There is also a small window above the door, which leaks light. This door was just an ordinary wooden door. With a clang, Yechen kicked it open. "You!" A voice of surprise came from the door. 015.